Hello and welcome to the Vaping Community's first video tutorial. I am Walt, otherwise known as Smiling Ogre on the forum, and this tutorial is going to be on the Create a Recipe page in the Vaping Community's eJuice calculator. Now, there are actually two different versions of this. The one I'm going to cover today is for a logged on user. The other one is for a guest user or a person that just doesn't want to log on at the moment and wants to create a real quick recipe. It's also useful for that. So we're going to start right from the beginning, and that's with our choose image field. I'm going to click on that. That'll bring up a browser. I've already got a picture in here that I put together. And so I'm going to click on open there, and voila, we have a picture. Now, they're best 50 by 50 pics, little square thumbnails. That's going to fit in there the best and give you the best resolution. There's a caveat to this. We're asked to not put anything offensive in there. I'm pretty sure that would go for anything you type in as well. It only makes good sense why put something offensive in there. If something is deemed offensive, it will be removed, and a warning will be issued to that effect. Now, the next two fields here are the only two that are actually required, and that's the recipe name. And this is going to be apple, watermelon. Real simple little recipe. And in the description, I'm going to put a very simple apple watermelon blend. And you've got, what, I guess 250 characters there, so you got plenty of space. How much are we going to make? I mean, I don't know how this could be any simpler. This thing really breaks it down nice. And you'll see as we go along what I'm talking about. So 125 milliliters, that's the volume I like to make. I like 50-50 VG-PG. My desired strength is 2 milligrams. The nicotine strength, now that's how you buy your nicotine. In other words, do you buy 100%, 50%, 30%? I don't know how many different percentages they make, but there are a number of them. However you buy it, you want to type it in there. And then in PG in nicotine, okay, here you're defining whether you buy, if you bought that in VG, you'd put 100% VG. If you bought it in some kind of a 50-50 PG, VG mix, you'd put 50 because that's the amount of PG you got in there. If you bought it in total VG, you'd put in 0, obviously. Now back to the desired VG, just real quick. You notice there is no PG listed there. Well, this calculator just automatically calculates what percentage of PG will be. So you only have to type in the one, you don't have to type in both. Go down just a little bit further, and we have an option here. You can click for 0 nicotine, and you can see these go gray, and you can see up in here, the nicotine goes to 0. So that's just a real quick, easy way to put together a 0 nicotine recipe. So I'm going to unclick that and go back to where I was. Here I can use a pre-mix base. Okay, so here are some of the more frequently used PG-VG ratios. Just for demonstration, I'll click one. Okay, and you'll see that up in here, it automatically calculates for that ratio. So the other thing that okay, I'm going to unclick this and unclick this, and that'll bring me back to how I originally had it in there. Now, the other thing you can do is you can click on this, whether you use pre-base mix or whether you put it in. I already have done this once. You click on this, and it's going to save that for you as a registered user, okay? And the next time you bring it up, it'll bring these fields up, these in here, your amount, desired PG, desired strength, nicotine strength, PG in the nicotine. It'll bring those automatically up by default. So you won't have to ever type those in again. Like I say, this thing is just unbelievably simple. Now, the flavor name, you can type pretty much anything you want in there. My groovy flavor. Okay. And then obviously assign a percentage to it. This is handy if that's what you want to do. Now, what it won't do is it won't save that flavor to the database. Okay. It's a non-standard flavor, and it won't save it into the database. It'll print out and it'll show on your your recipe. Okay. But it just won't save it. Now, I have two of them in here that I use, and one is apple, and it's right here, the Fuji Art. Yeah, the Fuji Apple by Flavor Art, and I use 3% of that. I'm going to add a flavor, and the next one is watermelon. Probably pretty easy to guess because the name kind of indicates what it is. Here's our watermelon red summer that I use. Okay, and I'm going to add another flavor, and that's going to be a sweetener. Now, this one I sometimes have trouble finding. Don't know why. Here we go, right here. Sucrose sweetener, vapable. Okay, and that's my whole. See, this guy come up with 2.95. I want this to be 2. Okay, and that's my whole recipe right there. A couple more things you can do. You can put search stash, and we'll cover this on another tutorial, but you can build a stash inside of this database system to where everything that you have, okay, will only come up if you choose that. So if I were to put that in there and I start to put in strawberry, you can see that I only have 2 strawberries in my stash. So again, another real handy thing. Search stones, that's not currently available. I believe that's for future use. Our select recipe profiles. Go into here and you have a whole bunch of different categories to choose from. And mine is obviously a fruity, so I'll click on that. Homogenization period. Yeah. Here you can pick a number, and here you can pick either days or weeks, and that's basically to define how long you're going to steep, if you steep. Down in here, recipe notes. I'm not too great at this. I'm no master mixer, so I'm just going to put, I don't know what I'm going to put. Just something I like. Mellow blend of apple and watermelon. Okay, so now notice here it says that they're private by default, and please go to your recipes to toggle the privacy. That's just a good thing to know. One thing up in here that I just realized I didn't catch, suggest, if you can't find a flavor, you can suggest it here. So, okay, fine. For now, you put in your My Groovy flavor or whatever, but you really do have a flavor that, you'd like added to the database. You can click on here, and it'll automatically take you, okay, to a page on the Vaping Community forum where you can ask to have that added. That's a real cool little routine as well. So now I can go here to save, and I'm going to save and view my recipe, and looky there. Okay, I got my cute little picture in there. It says it's free fruity. I've got my brief description of it, and it shows just the flavors over here. Okay, it shows the strength and whatnot. Okay, now if I want to actually mix this, I can click on here, and there it brings up everything. So there's your entire recipe to put that recipe together. Over here, recipe actions. You can discuss it, you can print it, you can adapt it, on and on and on and on. I'm not going to go into that too awful much. Here's your privacy deal. Okay, I can go in here to in the privacy area, and here's where I can make it public. I'm going to go ahead and make this public. I don't see any reason why not. Okay, and the other thing that I would do personally before I made the recipes, I'd print it. Send it right to a printer or a PDF or whatever you want it to. So there you have it. I mean, that is just one very, very simple system to use. And now you can go ahead and create a recipe, and it saves it for you. You can go up here and click on recipes, and you can see I have a whole 2 recipes already. I used to use another calculator, but transferred over to this one. And quite frankly, this is head and shoulders above what I used to use. So with that, we'll call this tutorial a wrap. Hope you enjoy it. Hope to put out another one pretty quick here. Thanks, folks.